Hello there. My name is Haley Thomas, and this is my presentation for responsible decision making and executive function as a makeup for the Great Teacher Pipeline Grant professional development meeting I missed on the 21st of February. I'm like, what day is it? Who knows? Okay, so before I get started, I want to start with a land acknowledgement. I learned in one of my education classes that this is really important, and I definitely agree because we need to know where we're standing and what we're on and who we are need to show respect to about their lands. So we acknowledge and are mindful that Chico State stands on lands that were originally occupied by the first people of this area, the Machupta, and we recognize their distinctive spiritual relationship with this land, the flora, the fauna, and the waters that run through campus. We are humbled that our campus resides upon sacred lands that since time immemorial have sustained the Machupta people and continue to do so today. Okay, so before we jump into the presentation, I wanted to jump into a presentation about myself. Number one, sorry that I'm not showing my face. I ordered a desktop camera because I got a new monitor that does not have a camera, and the camera is not in yet. So I'm doing it this way. I'm so sorry. Um, but I provided a photo so you can see that I do exist. I am a person. Thank you, Jason Halley, for this photo. My name is Haley Thomas. I'm 21 years old. I go to Chico State. I am a music education major with a child development minor. This is my last semester. I am a senior. I'm going to be graduating. I play clarinet, saxophone, French horn, piano, and more. My favorite TV show at the moment, and probably for the rest of my life, is going to have to be How I Met Your Mother. Um, I'll always watch it. It's on Netflix right now. Um, Something I really enjoy is watching new musicals. I'm going to new events around Chico. I just went to trivia at the barn in Merriam Park for the first time. It was very fun. Um, I like hanging out with friends. I like singing and I like shopping. I plan to teach music in the NorCal area once I graduate from the credential program, which will be next spring, and I'm hopefully going to be teaching elementary music. So yeah, so that's a little bit about me. So now let's talk about executive function. Sorry, there's something in my throat. Okay, so executive function basically helps our brains manage our behaviors, our self control, manage our impulses. It's very important because without it, we're kind of just all over the place and acting out. Basic areas of executive function are attention control, so being able to pay attention, like for example, in class, especially with students, cognitive flexibility, cognitive inhibition, inhibitory control, that's the ability to control your impulses, and your working memory. It helps you organize thoughts and prioritize specific tasks. Um, so a symptom of dysfunction is not being able to prioritize certain tasks and focusing on one and continuously doing that one instead of moving on to another one that's more important. Executive function is very, very important for us as human beings to successfully live our lives. Um, it's a important foundation in learning, and struggles can lead to emotional and behavioral disorders. Um, what is responsible decision making? The website Positive Action defines responsible decision making as the ability to make choices that affect you positively in your physical, intellectual, social, and emotional bodies. Responsible decisions are based on social morals, ethics, and safety. They also involve awareness of the impact of your choice on yourself, your goals, relationships, and others around you. Um, so I was just learning in one of my education classes about risk taking in adolescence and how adolescents are more likely to make irresponsible decisions and take risks because they don't understand and don't comprehend what can negatively affect them and what can happen to them if they end up making these irresponsible decisions. So responsible decision making is very important and is something that we tend to do every single day. Um, being considerate of others and aware of the impact of your choices on others as well as yourself and everyone around you. Okay, so while I jumped into this loophole of, sorry, they're doing work outside. I don't know if you can hear it. When I jumped into this loophole of what is executive function, I learned that there is also executive dysfunction. Some signs, these tend to be shown in students who have like ADHD, OCD, different types of attention disorders and things. Um, but procrastination, so they'll put off getting their homework done or their classwork done and they won't be able to focus on it. Um, they can't, as I mentioned earlier, prioritize these tasks. They have a difficulty starting their work or finishing it. So whenever you give them an assignment, they're going to keep either working on an old assignment, they're just not going to start this one, or they're going to talk to their neighbors and not know how to start it, and they're not going to know when to finish it or how to finish it or be able to put it down at the end of your class. Um, these students may have problems with transitions in the classroom. So going in between classes, going from, my music class to their fourth period English class is going to be really difficult because it's a whole new subject that they're going to have to get in the mindset of going to and be prepared to do work for this other teacher and not what they were just prepared to do. Disorganization, so backpacks are full of papers, old assignments, they don't turn things in because they lose them. Um, Giving presentations and the presentations are just all over the place and they are not able to organize their words. Um, Homework assignments are turned in, but the pages are all out of whack, things like that. Also, these students can be anxious and have difficulty regulating emotions, so they may have outbursts in class. They may start projecting onto other students their anxieties and their feelings and snapping out at others. They also may become closed off, so they could become the complete opposite and they could stop talking and not care and all of these different things. So in a study that I found that was done by Harvard, which is in that link right there on the Forbes website, Canva's weird and doesn't do what Google Docs does, where it makes it into a nice little link. It made it look gross. Um, in a study conducted at Harvard, not Art Harvard, on over 9,000 pre-adolescents, those who suffered from executive dysfunction were susceptible to decreases in mental health over the next 2 years. Um, so initially, they were showing signs of executive dysfunction and they were pretty fine overall mentally. Um, but as these scientists tracked their mental health over the next couple years, it showed a consistent decrease. Um, and leading to things like depression and worsened like generalized anxiety disorder. These things can also lead to future health disorders like dementia and Alzheimer's, depending on what happens. Executive function also is not just caused by ADHD and different things, but can also be caused by brain injuries and brain trauma, which is something that I discovered when doing research for this project. Um, yeah. Oh, that's a page I should have deleted. Ignore that. Um, so, ways to deal with executive dysfunction. Now, these ways are ways that students and um, adolescents can deal with it, but I have a slide after this that's for basic classroom management and getting homework and classwork done. So I feel like this is more towards the teacher who's dealing with things like this. I feel like personally I've dealt with a lot of these types of things, at least not being good with transitions, not being able to, I don't know, regulate my emotions. I get into the analysis paralysis of things and I go, okay, I have my assignment to do and then I have this assignment to do, but I need to do my taxes and I need to do this and I really struggle prioritizing what needs to be done first, and I kind of just do whatever my brain sticks to first, which isn't always the best thing to do. So yeah, so these are geared more towards the teacher aspect. Goal management training, GMT. This training uses mindfulness and strategy training to promote self regulation and management, which is what we're talking about. Combining this with reminders in a classroom setting can help even chronic dysfunction. So, students or teachers who struggle with executive dysfunction chronically are not able to get anything done, are just overwhelmed, emotionally distressed. By using goal management training, this can actually help get them out of this state of dysfunction and help them get back on track. Mindfulness is definitely something I feel like teachers and students can practice in their day to day lives, and just incorporating that into the classroom would be really cool. Um, Optimizing your lifestyle. So, improving sleep quality, eating healthily. Um, Back to sleep, you're supposed to get at least, what, 8 hours a day? And depending on what gender you are, you're supposed to get more or less. Eating healthily, not eating Raising Cane's for dinner every day, which is something I keep doing and I need to stop. Um, Reducing substance use. So, if you're a teacher who goes home every day and goes, ugh, I need a cup or a glass of wine, or every morning I need 12 cups of coffee, reducing this, minimizing medication, and managing your chronic pain. Um, these can all be really important things that will help you get back in um, that kind of rhythm of your life. Problem solving therapy, which is structured strategies to tackle daily challenges, like putting reminders in visible areas and having specific structures that allow you to get things done step by step. Cognitive behavioral therapy, which is behavioral and emotional regulation strategies. These are more like therapy based practices that you'd probably have to go get seen by like a therapist about, but that's okay because sometimes us as adults, we have money to do that. So, yeah. So ways to deal with executive dysfunction in a classroom setting. Number one, posting reminders in a public area, like on your whiteboard, Google Classroom, or your door. I personally feel like me as a student, I really enjoy the Canvas calendar because I'm able to look on there and see every assignment, what day it's due, what day I'm currently on, what's missing, what's coming up, and it really helps me seeing this visual reminder. And also, I don't have to write it in because I have a planner and an iPhone calendar and a wall planner and a tiny little calendar that I keep in my pocket. And so I don't have to put that on everything. I can just open up the Canvas calendar. And then once it's done, it gets checked off. And it's a really good feeling. So something like that in Google Classroom. Also writing, for music, concert dates on the whiteboard so students will see it. Putting worksheets, or not worksheets, flyers and posters on the board, dates on the board, also on the door as you're leaving. Students may see it. I do know that a lot of students kind of just black out and don't really notice things around them, but sometimes they notice these things and they don't even realize it. And so if you ask them, what day is this performance? They may know it even though they think that they don't. Number two, practicing mindfulness and grounding yourself. This again can be practiced in the classroom, and it can be just a daily 5 minute check in type of thing. Once they come in from recess or once they come back from lunch, like practice some mindfulness, ground yourself, get some mindfulness journals and start writing about stuff. Just that little check in once a day may help them feel a little bit better. Using decision making apps and timers. I know that there are a lot of apps provided, and I know that phones are the new, will forever and always be the new thing. Um, and so allowing students to have these on their phones and time them, and there's a lot of what's it? There's a forest app or something where you download it and you turn your phone off for a certain amount of time and you grow a tree. But then if you turn your phone on, then you kill the tree, then you have a dead tree in your forest. So just things like that. Posting schedules in a public area, a visible area, like your whiteboard or classroom door, and not changing your routine very much. So students know what's going to happen and they get used to the routine because most students are not used to routine in their lives. And so they need to have this so they feel safe and secure. Um, Giving clear, simple instructions and directions out loud and having students repeat it back so you know that they're actually, repeating and comprehending what you're saying. Maybe having them reword it in a new way so that they're not just reading the same thing over and over again and not actually comprehending what is being said. Highlighting key terms and ideas in worksheets or in texts, helping students create daily to-do lists for homework and classwork, as well as breaking down big projects into tinier assignments. So yeah, these are various ways that you can help your students who struggle with executive dysfunction in your classroom, and just not even just students who struggle with this executive dysfunction, but just making the classroom more accessible for those so that they can make responsible decisions and they can get their work done instead of getting overwhelmed by it all. Conclusion is that executive function refers to skills that help with the control of varying impulses and reactions, as well as making plans, solving problems, and adapting to new situations. Executive dysfunction is a behavioral symptom that disrupts a person's ability to manage their own thoughts, emotions, and actions. It's most common with certain mental health conditions, especially addictions, behavioral disorders, brain development disorders, and mood disorders. This can be helped and better supported in classrooms by providing clear instructions, accommodations and modifications to assignments, and providing reminders in visible areas. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.